You've probably wondered about this before. Every morning you step outside and fill your bird feeder. And after a while, something strange starts happening. The same cardinal appears. The same chickadee arrives. The same pair of doves seem to be waiting nearby. Sometimes they show up before you've even finished filling the feeder. Sometimes it feels like they were expecting you. And eventually a question begins to form. Do birds actually remember the people who feed them? Most people assume birds live almost entirely on instinct. They find food. They avoid danger. They raise their young. And that's about it. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if the birds visiting your yard know far more about you than you've ever imagined? Because according to modern science, many birds possess remarkable memories. Some species can remember thousands of food storage locations. Thousands. Think about that for a moment. A tiny bird weighing only a few ounces can create a mental map of an entire landscape and remember exactly where food is hidden months later. That's not simple behavior. That's sophisticated memory. And it gets even more surprising. Researchers studying crows discovered that these birds can recognize individual human faces, not just clothing, not just height, actual faces, even years after a single encounter. In some cases, crows have even been observed communicating information about specific humans to other crows. Imagine that. A bird remembers a person, then shares that information with members of its community. Most people have no idea this is happening. Yet it reveals something important. Bird brains are far more capable than most people realize. Now let's bring this back to your yard. Imagine you're a bird. Every day food appears in the same place. And every day that food appears shortly after a particular human arrives. Day after day. Week after week. Month after month. Eventually, a pattern becomes impossible to ignore. The human appears. The food appears. Nothing dangerous happens. The area remains safe. Birds are extremely good at recognizing patterns like this. Scientists call it associative learning. The bird learns that one event predicts another. Your presence predicts food. Your presence predicts safety. Your presence predicts consistency. And consistency is incredibly valuable in the wild. This is why some birds seem to know exactly when you're coming. They aren't reading your mind. They're reading your routine. They've learned the sounds you make, the times you appear, the movements associated with feeding. In other words, they've been paying attention. Far more attention than most people realize. But here's where things become truly fascinating. Recognition is not the same thing as affection. A bird recognizing you doesn't necessarily mean it loves you the way a dog might love its owner. Instead, something different is happening. The bird has determined that you matter. In a wild animal's world, attention is precious. Every second spent observing something is energy. Every decision carries risk. If a bird repeatedly notices you, remembers you, and adjusts its behavior around you, that means you've become part of its understanding of the world. You exist inside its mental map. Think about that. Among thousands of sounds, movements, trees, predators, and changing conditions, this small wild creature has decided that you are worth remembering. Not because you forced it, not because it's captive, but because experience taught it that you matter. And that may be the most beautiful part of all. Every bird that visits your feeder remains completely free. You don't own it. You don't control it. You cannot make it stay. Every visit is voluntary. Every landing is a choice. Every return is a decision made by a wild creature. Yet it keeps coming back, again and again. Not because it has to, because it has learned that your yard offers something valuable. Food. Safety, predictability, trust. That's what makes bird feeding so extraordinary. It isn't ownership. It's a relationship built entirely on choice. A relationship renewed every single day. So, do birds remember the people who feed them? The evidence suggests that many do. Not necessarily in the same way humans remember one another, but in a way that may be just as meaningful. They observe, they learn, they recognize patterns, and in some species, they can identify individual humans with remarkable accuracy. Which means that tomorrow morning, when a familiar chickadee lands nearby, when a cardinal appears before you've reached the feeder, when a bird seems to know exactly where to find you, you might not be imagining things after all, because while you've been watching them, they've been watching you too. And perhaps they've remembered more than you think. If you've ever felt that a bird in your yard recognized you, tell me your story in the comments. What bird was it? What happened? I read every single comment. And if you'd like to learn more about the incredible lives of the birds around you, subscribe to Perch Pray. I'll see you in the next video.